Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am your host, your girl Tabitha, and last night Rachel Maddow did what she always does, which is drop bombshells. She dropped a bombshell regarding a memo in relation to Merrick Garland and him possibly prosecuting Donald Trump. And it explains a lot to me. Now, I'm not at home. I am on location, and the equipment that I am working with, I can see that there is a lag. The lighting isn't all that great, but I promise you will get the gist of this reporting from Rachel Maddow. This explains a lot to me. This explains to me why it looks as though Merrick Garland is not investigating Donald Trump, why the January 6th committee is light years ahead in receiving evidence as it relates to Donald Trump's role in the January 6th insurrection. It's because Merrick Garland is not investigating this because he has no plans, no intention of arresting Donald Trump at all. Let's hit play.
This is a document that we have just obtained that has not been published elsewhere. It is from Attorney General Merrick Garland. It is addressed to all Justice Department employees. It is dated May 25th, 2022. So that's about 8 weeks ago. But again, we believe the first time this document has been shown to the public. As you can see, it is titled Election Year Sensitivities. Department of Justice employees are entrusted with the authority to enforce the laws of the United States and with a responsibility to do so in a neutral and impartial manner. This is particularly important in an election year now that the 2022 election season is upon us. And as in prior election cycles, I am issuing this memorandum to remind you of the department's existing policies with respect to political activities. And again, this is a memo that is from Attorney General Merrick Garland. It has his signature on the top of it in blue ink. And then it says this under the heading Statements, Investigations, and Charging Near an Election. Quote, the Department of Justice has a strong interest in the prosecution of election-related crimes, such as those involving federal and state campaign finance laws, federal patronage laws, corruption of the election process. As department employees, however, we must be particularly sensitive to safeguarding the department's reputation for fairness, neutrality, and nonpartisanship. Simply put, partisan politics must play no role in the decisions of federal investigators or prosecutors regarding any investigations or criminal charges. Law enforcement officers and prosecutors may never select the timing of public statements, attributed or not, meaning on background or not, investigative steps, criminal charges, or any other action in any matter or case for the purpose of affecting any election or for the purpose of giving an advantage or disadvantage to any candidate or political.
I want to jump in right here. For the purpose of altering any election, affecting any election. This is what this statement is regarding. Affecting an election.
Party. Such a purpose or the appearance of such a purpose is inconsistent with the department's mission and with the principles of federal prosecution. If you face an issue or the appearance of an issue regarding the timing of statements, investigative steps, charges, or other actions near the time of a primary or general election, contact the Public Integrity section of the Criminal Division for further guidance.
Near the primary of an election.
Such consultation is also required at various stages of all criminal matters that focus on violations of federal and state campaign finance laws, federal patronage crimes, and corruption of the election process. And now get this. Finally, department employees must also adhere to the additional requirements issued by the Attorney General on February 5th, 2020. February 5th, 2020, governing the opening of criminal and counterintelligence investigations by the department, including its law enforcement agencies, related to politically sensitive individuals and entities. See Memorandum of Attorney General William Barr, February 5th, 2020. Any questions regarding the scope or requirements of the February 2020 Attorney General's memorandum should be directed to the Public Integrity section. Again, this memo from Merrick Garland to the Justice Department, to all Justice Department employees, was sent out about 8 weeks ago in late May. We have just obtained it. We believe this is the first time it's been made public. And in large part, this memo from the Attorney General follows both the letter and the spirit of previous letters from other attorneys general around election time. Basically says, look, we can't look like we're acting to effectuate some particular partisan outcome. Around election time, that means we may delay certain steps we would otherwise take in order to avoid even the perception that we are trying to influence election outcomes. We have seen that kind of guidance before from attorneys general of all stripes. That's fine. That's at least non-controversial. But this last part about Bill Barr's instructions from 2020, that's kind of a surprise. February 2020, Trump Attorney General Bill Barr put out new guidance over and above what all attorneys general had previously said. And what Bill Barr said in February 2020 was specifically that, in essence, nobody's allowed to investigate anybody connected to a presidential candidate without his permission, personally, as Attorney General. Barr's memo from February 2020, the language of it specifically, it said, quote, no investigation, including any preliminary investigation, may be opened or initiated by the department or any of its law enforcement agencies of a declared candidate for president or vice president, a presidential campaign, or a senior presidential campaign staff member or advisor, absent prior written approval of the Attorney General through the Deputy Attorney General. Trump Attorney General Bill Barr established that new rule in February 2020, no investigating any declared candidate for president or anybody working for that candidate unless I personally give my permission.
So if Donald Trump, because there's all this buzz that Donald Trump is going to announce that he's running for president, let's say if he does it next week. He said he was going to do it before the midterms. And he said the reason why he would be running for president is because as a sitting president, you cannot be prosecuted. Let's remember that. So if he announces next week that he's running for president, the way that I understand it is him and anybody that works for him would not be subject to an investigation or prosecution. And so in my opinion, Merrick Garland is working under the assumption that Donald Trump is going to announce that he is running for president. Now, up until this point, with all of the evidence that is out there, Merrick Garland could have charged Donald Trump, but he hasn't. That leads me to believe that he is protecting Donald Trump. And I have a problem with that. But Rachel Maddow's not done. Let's continue.
That new rule was established by Bill Barr when he was working for Donald Trump. Merrick Garland has just formally extended that guidance and told every employee of the Justice Department that it is still in effect. Notice went out in late May. We are reporting the memo here, making it publicly available for the first time. Well, what's happened in the meantime since guidance went out from Merrick Garland to every Justice Department employee, telling them that the Bill Barr advice is still in effect, and any investigation, including the opening of any investigation that applies to a candidate for president or anybody working for a candidate for president, that has to get his personal sign-off. What has happened since late May when this went out? Well, former President Donald Trump has had the delightful experience of the January 6th investigation, essentially rolling out a real-time, prime-time criminal referral of him to the Justice Department.
Okay.
Justice Department, which is poking along with its own cases at its own pace, maybe more interested in the fake electors part specifically, maybe just spending a lot of time watching the January 6th investigators, marveling at all the neat stuff they've turned up.
Right.
That the Justice Department is apparently learning about at the same time we all are by watching the hearings. That's happened since this memo went out. And also since this memo went out, Trump has responded to all these revelations about him on January 6th by reportedly moving to speed up his own declaration that he's going to be a candidate for president again.
Yes.
And that, of course, is despite the interests of the Republican Party, which will likely not be helped at all by him telling the country formally that he intends to lead the Republican Party again right before people have to decide this fall whether to put Republicans in power in Congress. It wouldn't be good for the Republican Party if Trump announces he's a candidate for president again before the midterm elections happen.
But we all know that Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about the Republican Party, right? We all know that. He is in it. The first time around, he was in it for the money. This time around, he is in it to keep from being investigated by the DOJ, possibly charged, arrested, tried, and sent to prison.
Wouldn't be good for his party, but it would be very much in keeping with his own interest in putting as many roadblocks as possible in the way of any possible prosecution of himself. Jennifer Rubin, writing at the Washington Post today, said the January 6th committee's remarkable success in fact-finding and presenting evidence against Trump leaves the Justice Department on the defense and scrambling to staff up. The department now faces the prospect that Trump will announce his presidential run in the fall, which the former president will use to cast any subsequent charges as political efforts to keep him from office. Fair enough. January 6th investigation chairman Benny Thompson was just asked about this tonight.
What do you think the implication would be of the former president announcing another presidential run? He's clearly toying with doing it at some point in the early fall. What impact does that have on your investigating? He's an active candidate.
2 years before the election?
Yeah.
I would think no.
Even, it's unorthodox enough, but even if it is.
Look, we are a nation of law, and if a person breaks the law, or is accused of breaking the law, he's not one who can get chooses because he's running for president. So Donald Trump is just like any other American citizen.
Apparently, he is not. And apparently, based on the bombshell that Rachel Maddow just dropped, he's going to use this in order to protect himself from prosecution. Up until this point, Donald Trump has gotten away with every criminal thing that has been exposed about him and his administration. And Merrick Garland is allowing him to continue to laugh in the face of the Department of Justice and the laws of the United States.
As you can see, it is titled...
Sorry, y'all. I hit the wrong. I'm trying to get back to where we were. Here we go.
The president will use to cast any subsequent charges as political efforts to keep him from office. Fair enough. January 6th investigation chairman Benny Thompson was just asked about this tonight.
What do you think the implication would be of the former president announcing another presidential run? He's clearly toying with doing it at some point in the early fall. What impact does that have on your investigating? He's an active candidate.
2 years before the election?
Yeah.
I would think no.
Even, it's unorthodox enough, but even if it is.
Look, we are a nation of law, and if a person breaks the law, or is accused of breaking the law, he's not one who can get chooses because he's running for president. So Donald Trump is just like any other American citizen.
If a person breaks the law or is accused of breaking the law, he's not one who can just do what he chooses because he's running for president. So Donald Trump is just like every other American citizen in this situation. Yes, it would be unorthodox for him to announce 2 years in advance that he's a candidate for president. Why would he do that? Well, now we know, now that we've obtained this Justice Department memo from a few weeks ago, now we know for sure that it does kick something into action.
Yep.
If he, in fact, announces himself as a declared candidate for president, that means any investigation that relates to him or anyone working for him has to be personally cleared in writing through the very highest echelons of the Justice Department.
And that's that on that, y'all. That's Donald Trump's strategy at this point. And Merrick Garland is pussy enough to let it happen. I don't think Merrick Garland is going to do anything. I think we must now look to Fannie Willis down here in Atlanta, Georgia. And if Merrick Garland, now he may surprise us, but I don't think he will. But if he doesn't do what most Americans are basically saying, that Donald Trump has broken the law, if he doesn't prosecute Donald Trump, I would be one to ask for his resignation. He's not capable of doing his job. And that's just my opinion. Y'all let me know your thoughts down below. We will be back here on Thursday at 8 p.m. We will be doing a live watch along of the supposedly final January 6th hearing. We'll be watching along. We will be chatting. We will be reminiscing. We will be connecting some dots. We have a good time doing it. See y'all then.